I could do the same thing to this lower right line end, and I could do it to the upper right. It sort of looks like I see a terminus there. In fact, I think I'll do that. So we're going to move this down, and I'm going to do what I just did. I'm going to select the stamp. I'm going to hit Control Copy, Control Paste, made a new image. Go to Picture Tools, select Crop. Now I've got the crop handles. I'm going to grab this lower left handle and drag up here to where I've got magnified image there. I'm just going to get rid of some of that black space by left clicking and holding on the image itself and moving it just about where I want it, and let go, click away, move it where I want it, left click and hold, and now I'm going to make it bigger. Grab a hold of the left, lower left, and the upper right, and I can see it's a little bit iffy. It looks like that perf tore a little bit, so no guarantees there, but it's still giving me a pretty good view of what I've got, so I could see it really well. And now I'm going to click on it again. I'm going to add the line. Go in this menu to the right, click on solid line, click on white, and then I'm going to click in the width field. I'm going to hit the up arrow until I get to, what did I say, 2.5. And now I've got those two. The last thing I'm going to do is just add some reference. So I want it to be clear that this square here is coming from this upper right hand corner. And I'm going to do that by clicking on the Insert button, go to Shapes. So Insert tab up at the upper left, go to Shapes, hit the drop down, and I'm going to insert just a plain rectangle. So I'll click on Rectangle. Now wherever I click with my cursor, it's going to create a rectangle. If I just left click once, it'll just insert a kind of a generic rectangle, which that's fine. So I could just do that now. Click once. It made a generic rectangle with a blue fill. And I don't want that to be blue. I want it to be transparent. So I'll go over to my properties for the shape, format shape over here on the right. The rectangle is selected. And I'm going to go to, I want no fill. So I'm going to click on no fill there. Now all I've got is a very fine black line. I want that line to be white. So I'm going to go down to the line properties. I'm going to click on color, select white. I'd like it to be a little bit bigger. I'm going to make it 1.5. We'll go to 2. It's still hard to see it in some places, so I'm going to do one more thing to this rectangle, and that is I'm going to go into the Format Shape options, and I'm going to click on the Effects. And I'm going to go down to where it says Glow, select Glow. And now I'm going to change that. Right now it's set for no glow color. So basically there's no glow on it. I'm going to change that to black. So I'm going to select color and I'm going to select black. And you'll see that that created a black sort of background to my white line. That's a little heavy in my mind. So I usually reduce the size of the glow, and there's a little option for size over on the right here. It defaults to 10 points. I'm going to get down to about 5, I think. 5 looks about right. And you could play with that. And I'm going to left click. And so I'm going to move the cursor over until I am right on the edge of the rectangle and left click once. Make sure that it shows that rectangle. Many times I've done that, and then my cursor goes a little away and I click and hold and start moving, and I moved the stamp instead of the rectangle. Now to fix that, I like to use the Control Z button because it'll put that stamp right exactly where it was before. So I just made one move there and I saw, oops, I got the wrong thing. So I'm going to hit Control and then hit Z, and it moves it right back exactly where it was. Okay, now I'm going to try again. Click away from the stamp. And I'm going to left click and hold right on that thing. Oh, nice. Now I've got it, and I'm going to move it up to where we got that image from, which is about there. I can grab these handles to move them a little bit to get just exactly how I want it to look. And that's pretty close there. I think I'll leave it there. I could do the same thing with this lower left one. Instead of going through all that process like I just did, I'm just going to left click on that rectangle. It's highlighted. I'm going to hit Control C, Control V, and it made a new rectangle. I'm going to drag it, left click, hold, drag it down here. And once I've got it there, then I can fine tune it by moving with these little button handles. And I'd say that's about right. Last thing I occasionally do is I connect those with a line, and that's very easy. You go into your Insert tab, select Shapes, and you're looking for lines. I'm just going to select a regular line, select it, and just anywhere here, well, I'm going to left click once. It created a line. It's a blue line. I want that to be a white line, so I'll go back over to my menu. It's highlighted. Click on Fill in Line. I'm going to change my line color to white, and I'm going to make it about 2 points, I think. Okay, now you can see it. And now it's about where I want it. So now I'm going to take this. I'm going to highlight it. Now I'm going to grab the left end of it. It's got one handle on it. I'm going to move it down to this big rectangle, and you can see as I get there, it's going to actually highlight some little handles on the rectangle. And I'm going to, once I see it right by those little handles, I'm going to let go. I'm going to grab the other end, go down to this one, and let go. I could do the same thing on the upper right. I'll let you play with that. Then the last thing I'll do if I've got a position or something like that, I'll go back up to Insert, and I'll insert a text box, which is hit this text box. The better way to do it is come down here and left click and hold, and then drag to the right and let go. And now you can see there's a text box there. So now I could type in my 21R11, say L. I can't see it because it's defaulting to probably a black font. If I just drag that text box down here, you can see it. I want to make it bigger. I'll go up here in this home menu, and you can see up here where it's got different things related to the font. There's a button, really handy button here, which is just to increase the font size. If I just click it a few times, it just brings that font right up to where I want it. You could go however you want. I'm going to move it over here, maybe right to the middle. It doesn't show up very well right there, so I'm going to make a couple changes to it. I'll change my font color right up here to white, and then usually I give that font some glow, so I'll go back over to my menu on the right. I have text options, click on text options, make sure I'm in effects, which I am right there, and I'll go to glow. I'm going to give it some black glow, and that looks good to me, so I'm just going to leave it right like that. Last thing I'm going to do is hit save. And you got to go to File, Save. That wasn't the last thing. There's one more thing I've got to do, and that is save it as a JPEG. Now this first save that I clicked, because it was a new file, I didn't give it a location, so it actually wasn't saved. So I want to make sure I browse to a location. I'm going to save this in, let's see, I think I've got a stamps folder. I don't have a stamps folder. Oh yeah, stamps. I'm going to save it in the stamps folder. We're going to call it, 26A, whatever you want to call it. Just type in your title. I'm going to, PowerPoint. Okay, PowerPoint. It's a PowerPoint's file. Save it. Sorry, now it's really saved. Now I want to save it as a picture. So this is the last thing. This is really the last thing I'm going to do. I'm going to go and hit File, and instead of hitting Save, I'm going to hit Save As. So if I hit Save, all it's going to do is it's going to save the PowerPoint file, but I want to actually save it as a JPEG. So I'm going to go back to File, Save As, and this is actually going to create a new file, basically. Okay, Save As. I'm going to go to the exact same place I was, which you can see it gave me that option right here, Documents, Stamps. Okay, so now I've got the right location, and now I want to change the type of file that it is. I'm going to click a drop down on PowerPoint presentation. I'm going to go down to where I see JPEG, select JPEG, and then I want this one to be actually of that particular stamp. So I'm going to left click, highlight the title, and I'm going to put 21R11L. And then I'm going to hit save. It will always ask me this next question. It didn't. Oh, there it is. Next question, which slides do you want to export? Well, I just want to export this one. Sometimes I'll have a file with 10 or 12 or more slides, and I just want to select this one. So it's just one picture. If I select all, it's going to save every single file or slide in the PowerPoint, which generally don't want. So just click just this one. Now if I go back to that folder, so if I click on my folders, File Explorer, and I'm looking for Documents, Stamps, and there it is in Stamps, and now I've got a JPEG showing my image, and I think I'm done.